Hello, glorious lead SMEs and/or glorious SMEs. I, Michael, am going to give you a quick glimpse at our two templates for content. We've divided them up into two because the way in which we ingest, or the way in which we put questions into our adaptive platform, realize it, can be a little bit tricky. So we've decided to break what is usually one template into two templates. So we've got one that's more or less pertains to activity and all your content, learning material, introduction, summary, all that good stuff. And then there's one specifically devoted to questions. These are both summative and formative. They are fair game for both the pretest and for the user check your knowledge test at the end of every activity. So questions are key, but there's other videos about that I won't go into right now. So to begin, what we're looking at right here is the template for content. This is one that should be in your Google Drive sort of folder or care package area, and you'll need to have a pairing of these for each of your activities. So as you see, if you open this one first, and it's you type your course title in right here, and then week number, assignment name, that'd be great. If it's week 6, call it something extravagant like the parietal lobe. Very well. And then there'll be a link to this video walkthrough right here. So that's very meta. But then you all of a sudden see this horrible stop sign. The questions template should be completed before proceeding. We're really going for a backwards design here at the American Women's College, which means that you start with your sort of outcomes and then you work your way backwards. Which means that you start with, okay, which sort of masteries, what sort of objectives you want users to have a working knowledge of. Figure those out first, and then you'll come back to this template. So let's go to that one. So here's the questions template. Not really that glamorous, not much to look at, but it's got to be kind of this stripped down in order for our adaptive platform realize it to like it. Otherwise, they disagree. But I found out that if you put comments in, that doesn't really interfere with the ingestion process. So if you ever need to leave like your course builder a comment, your program director a comment, your lead SME a comment, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But I ask, please, that you don't tinker with the formatting in the actual document itself over here. So we can see now I've put like a little placeholder text, and the way in which this is very multiple choice heavy, question heavy, obviously. So you can just simply type in, replace the text here, and whichever answer you put an asterisk next to, that is the one that will be flagged as correct. So I mean, if you think about it, multiple choice is just basically true. It can also be true false. So if you have a true false, true and false is option A and B, and mark one of them is correct. So that's really straightforward. You can see over on the right side, there's this kind of worked out example from a business course. You can see that here's the question, and answer A is the right one. That's it. And then you just save it and re-upload it back into your folder for us to take a stab at and put into the adaptive platform. Super easy. Okay. One tiny catch. If, and this is kind of project specific, say if you're going with Lumen's open content, Lumen Learning, they have a whole bank of questions. There's like hundreds of them that we can grab in and we can suck them all in one foul swoop. So we don't need you guys to retype every single question into one of our templates because Lumen already did it for us. So that's really neat. But the one thing we will need your help with is that Lumen has all these questions in a giant block, a giant bank. So we'll need your help with figuring out which questions go with which assignments. Because you'll make your own maps. And you have to tell us, okay, this should go with the parietal lobe activity, questions number 6 through 12. I would like these 3 questions from Lumen to go in there. You don't need to retype them for us. But then in addition, you can use this template to write some of your own and to supplement those, if that makes sense. So you have sort of the power, if you have gone with a provider that already has a working QTI bank of questions, that's great. We can take those. You just let us know what activities you'd like to see which questions in. We can take care of that, no problem. And the way that I attempted to articulate this was in this spec 2, the content template. Was right here after you write your introduction, your activity title up here, your intro. It's here, which questions should be included in this activity. If you want, you can definitely just say, questions numbers 6 through 10, include in whichever template you're working in here. So use these questions. That's great. And then we will know as a course building team, okay, we'll look at the other document, and we'll see the huge list of questions, and then we can go ahead and import them in here. So use this if you have a sort of provided bank of questions that we've already sucked in from like Lumen Learning or some other provider. Otherwise, we'll just assume that the at least the 5 we ask that you do 5 questions in the questions template are all going to go in. So if we scroll down further on the content template, so now that we've got our objectives, we've got our glorious questions, we need to figure out how in the world are students going to learn about these exciting concepts. So learning material, pretty straightforward. Where is it coming from? Where is a link to it? And embed codes can be really helpful, especially if for like YouTube videos. That helps us a lot and saves a lot of time, so we don't have to actually go to the link and resource and click in through. So please, access the embed code. It's under the little share option in YouTube. If you need help on that, Google Sensei is really good at that. So that could help. So it's really helpful to us and really important that we know where your stuff's coming from, where your content's coming from. You know that it is, of course, open, freely accessible. So here's some examples, some helpful samples up at the very top of this learning material. So citations, key, where you got it, embed code, please. If it is some kind of movie, sections, if it's not clear, let us know. Like, I only want the intro of this ebook. I only want chapter 4 of this online this PDF, only the first 2 minutes of this video. That's where that would go, sections to use. Description, what is it? Why is it useful? It's great. We like to think that movies just speak for themselves, but it's cool to do kind of a call out and say, hey, student, this is a movie featuring Carrot Top, who was once really important and now is not so much anymore. Pay attention to the key tones of voice. So if you're doing like some, really unacademic activity on Carrot Top. So basically, give some kind of framing, some kind of quotation, some sort of sandwiching of your resources so students know what to look out for and why you're using it. And the last thing is, as you know with KP, we have the power to dispense alternative content. And that is pretty neat stuff. And this is where you let us know, okay, learning material 2, this YouTube video is an alternative of learning material number 1. Cool. You just enter in the number right here. So, 2 is, that's good. You probably should not have numbers in both of these categories. Remember, an extension is merely like a cool supplement. Maybe it's a different modality that doesn't really quite fit in with like the text if you're going with text as your primary. So students, to get the questions right, would have to read the text, if that's text, and watch this video. So that's neat. The difference between extensions and alternatives is that in alternatives, a student can watch either the video or read the text and still get all those questions right that you wrote or that came imported with Lumen. So does that, hopefully that makes sense. You can't reply to me, but if you could, hopefully that makes sense. So you have an alternative is that students can either do one or the other. And extension is, they are presented with both. At the end of the first part of the text, it would say, would you like a different version? And then the students say yes, and then they end up being offered, YouTube video, a cool interactive timeline, any resource along those lines. So if you need more spaces for learning materials, let us know, and we can easily add another section. Yes. No, I'm just recording a webinar, and I should be out in just a few minutes. Okay. Oh, interesting. Well, get creative with that. No. Not leastly, we have a section for images. If you'd like just extra pictures to accompany maybe your summaries, maybe your intros, or if you're teaching an art history class, really cool to include images. Couple fun open source Wikimedia Commons Pixabay resources that you can click on, check them out. If you like them, give us a link to them. Maybe give some kind of text that say, this is Botticelli's The Birth of Venus. It's really great. And then provide a link. So we can put that in there, and so students know where it's coming from. So again, if you have more than 2 images, that's fine. We can just add extra columns here. And last but not least, a summary. We like to have those, just like a general summation of your key points, and this will be presented after the questions by default. So keep that in mind. That's just the way in which the system defaults. If you'd like to alter that, then maybe talk to us. We'll figure it out. Okay, and then just at the bottom of the template is just a couple helpful resources and explanations that are actually hyperlinked up here. So if you're worried about, what the questions are, or the learning material, get some extra explanation on that. Those explanations can be found right down here. More or less what I just walked through. So thank you for being part of this exciting initiative here at the American Women's College. I look forward to working with you if I do, in fact, work with you. Otherwise, I wish you all the luck in the room. Good luck. Thank you.